Like I was saying the last time, when Copperfield has a sheet in front of him, and then the girls drop it on a tall platform, and then the camera keeps rolling as the credits roll in the beginning of the Statue of Liberty 5th special, it zooms up on Copperfield waving at the Statue of Liberty's torch. But what you don't know is the one waving is a look-alike. His name is Christopher Hart, illusionist magician. He tours with Copperfield and in his switcheroo illusion ideas, including the imploding building, playing the hand, pulling in the chain. And that area footage is in another area of Charlotte Hotel building doing that. And when Copper gets in there, he immediately goes out. And when he put the CD in, it shot out a pick or an extra key, whatever, and he was able to get out of the handcuffs, or he shimmied him by the ratchet area, any way you want to do it. And then, well, they double lock it, then you got to pick double lock and then shimmy it. But then you make your escape down a special chute that'll let you go down real fast and then mingle with the crowd. Either he disguises himself in a blue outfit on the left, like someone mentioned, he's got his head down from the TV left, or it's the guy with the white helmet switching with that other guy, and he stays behind the pole because he was behind the cameraman. Copper was behind the cameraman, and then the camera zooms away so you can't see much detail, and then you see him turn around, look at the building, come back around again, and then everybody goes stage left, he goes stage right, but like he's about to change from Clark Kent Superman and appear on top of the thin steel platform. And by the time they get to that point, they already put the mirrors or glass that bends light in that area, so that way it looks emptiness, and you got all the lights of the police cars and ambulances reflecting on the mirror, and plus the sawhorse's reflection. You can't tell that it's solid and it looks emptiness. And either he jumped up on top of it and they raised it up like a glory ghost with a wire, and he got in it and moved the orange sheet with a black X on it, or as some girls noticed when they were there watching the rehearsal, you see him coming up through a trap door in that supposedly steel platform that might be steel, but it had a trap door in it, like a pin through the quarter idea. Milk, like Johnson's Precision Cut. You never know, maybe he used those company to do that steel platform. But anyway, whatever the case, he comes up through and he's exhausted because of all that running. But and then the crowd comes in and shake hands and all that. Anyway, action. Oh, and Copperfield's in the hollow stairs.
This is the Statue of Liberty. Tonight, the illusion of the century. David Copperfield will attempt to make the Statue of Liberty disappear.
This moon vanish is going to be something like this. Can he do it? Question mark. And Comfort's going to have layers like the Great Wall of China and the Statue of Liberty and all that.
Tonight we're here on Liberty Island. People come to this island by boat, and I've made the trip quite frequently during this past year, getting ready for tonight. A couple of weeks ago when I was on the boat, a young sightseer about 7 years old came up to me and said, "Are you David?" He said he saw me make the car disappear, and then he said he saw me make the jet plane disappear. I thanked him, and I watched as he looked up at the Statue of Liberty, then at me, then back to the statue, then back to me. Finally, he looked me right in the eye and said, "Are you thinking what I think you're thinking?" Well, that's what I was thinking, all right. And tonight, he and I and you are going to find out if it can be done. Can the Statue of Liberty really disappear? Well, one thing's for sure. It won't be done with camera tricks. All the magic you'll see on your television screen tonight is what you could see if you were right here or part of live audience. For example, right now let's go on a little magical journey. To where? Well, you'll find out.
See the hollow stairs right there? So you can't make out much detail. That's Christopher Hart illusionist. He looks like Copperfield from certain angles. He's perfect for the switcheroo illusions. You get a good makeup job, perfect. He looks just like Copperfield.
The Magic of David Copperfield. Sponsored by Pillsbury, makers of hot, fresh slice and bake cookies. And new Special K, now with bigger, crispier flakes. Still high in protein, low in sugar.
And like I was saying, last night at church, after talking with the Poranclos, and we had him do his PowerPoint and other things, we walked in the parking lot, and I looked for the moon, and it's a crescent moon, and the crescent moon, when I was looking straight towards from the parking lot where you park and lock up in a rectangle cage, above that is a crescent moon, and the crescent moon was towards your right. The dark side was on the left from my point of view, and it kind of looked like it was about to disappear. Well, by the time we got back home here, I know that location because the last time I looked, it was above the house. I didn't see it nowhere. I didn't even see it over this way. I didn't even see it over this way or that way. I could see, it was clear day. I could see stars, but I didn't see no moon. I was telling Miss Story, where's the moon at? It should be over here. I told Miss Story today, I think Copperfield and his crew, and even supper time, I said that I think Copperfield, and even lunch, or whatever, that scrambled eggs we have on Thursdays, sometimes on a Friday if we don't do it on a Thursday. Anyway, I was telling Miss Story that I think Copperfield and his little crew are still rehearsing it. You just got to find the right time. I'd like to get it on a full moon. I mean, I got them one time when it's just about a full moon. I don't know what you call that with the one I got. I got 1,000 some views. 30 76 Moon Shapes in the Sky, Copperfield, at Bill Green 4003. I think that's right, 4003. Anyway, all lowercase, at Bill Green, and put the number 4003, and search for 3076 Moon Shapes in the Sky, Copperfield. Look in Google search engine, look on Facebook, look on TikTok, you name it. And also, on TikTok, look up The Moon Disappeared, or look up The Moon Disappeared Right Before My Eyes, or anything like that. Or, why did the moon just disappear? Look on YouTube. What's happening with the moon? It keeps disappearing and reappearing. And then you read the added information. Does anybody know what's going on? Please comment down below. Well, I can't comment below because they don't got comments on, but luckily they asked again, and I was able to comment on that one. In TikTok, I let everybody know that, see, and Andre Cole created 7 methods to make the moon disappear in 1970s. He gave it to Copper and his crew, and they've been working on it since 1980s. It's year 2025 now. They were going to do it in 2024, but he got more sponsors to make it more longer. So he's going to go in rural schools and rural areas to hand telescopes to children so they can look up in the sky and dream big. And I assume it's going to be on CBS, since he did 18 specials plus 2 documentaries on that channel. Now, A&E did a documentary, and I think PBS did a documentary, but if you just count CBS, it's only 2 documentaries. But CBS, he did 18 specials. And the first special he ever did was to host a show on The Magic of ABC, starring David Copperfield. It has a lot of celebrities, Hal Linden and Donnie and Marie, you name it. Laverne and Shirley, well, you get the idea. Howard Cosell and everybody. But, anyway, it's going to be a big event. Copperfield likes to add layers, just like the Statue of Liberty in 1983. What I like is in 1983, the news people said the Statue of Liberty is having trouble with this light. The electricity went out. But what they don't know is it's not they're having trouble. Copperfield had to turn out the lights to add the bright lights, General Electric lights, to night blind the audience so they can't see past a now darkened statue. And they have a duplicate ring of lights right next to it, and they have a guy walking all around. Copperfield said nobody mentioned about the guy walking all around. I went to look, and he's right. There's a guy walking all around. We all figured all the other stuff, but Copperfield said they didn't notice the guy walking all around the ring of lights. But anyway, and we didn't have drones back then, but then again, Copperfield says he gets technology before we do. Maybe he had the drones, and that's why you see someone filming above the helicopter circling all around. Anyway, it's a real high-tech stuff. Used a helicopter, Pan Am helicopter pilot, moved in sync with the large, lazy, heavy, with silent ball bearings, with vibration or orchestra music, plus the vibration of the helicopter's blades going. All that adds to a perfect deception and fun to make the Statue of Liberty seem to disappear. It was a lot of work. Radar to make it like it disappeared. But you can catch reflection like a sun. If you know what a sundial is, then you see the reflection on the black radar rim go like a sundial. Me and another guy is the only one noticed that. Nobody brings that up except me and this other guy. Maybe the other guy saw my comment a long time ago. I don't know, but it don't matter. And then Trickbusters added about the reason why the sheet only goes about halfway, because he would see viewpoints. And the, what was it? The Trickbusters mentioned there's a bush there right next to the radar, so it makes it hard to see movement. but you can see it kind of jiggle a little bit. But the live audience and us TV nights had no clue back in 1983 how he did it. And it was mind-boggling. But now, information is everywhere. My idea is that they just put a black cloth and dropped down the white sheet and it looked like it was gone with a black light. Put black purple lights inside the crown and have the ring of lights at an angle around the statue, at an angle when they did an aerial shot. But little did I know, I got a big, someone said you ought to get bigger secrets. So once I got that, I got big secrets and biggest secrets. I figured they had biggest secrets. If they have big and bigger, they had to have the biggest. And it tells about a lot of things, including stage illusion, from Doug Henning to Copperfield, to the Alcatraz Copperfield secret, to Siegfried and Roy's Lady the Tiger illusion. A lot of stuff's in there, including government stuff. Way before Snowden talked about the government listening on stuff, it mentioned it in there before Snowden did it. Anyway, you get the idea. I mean, when Copper did the Dino red Ferrari car levitate up in midair, the red Dino car, I think it's the same car he drove in to show that the Learjet, some-ton Learjet disappeared. Because it was red, so I assume it's the same Dino Ferrari. But anyway, he made the Dino Ferrari vanish in midair. If you know the Lady Azra levitation, it's just a bit on a bigger scale. He used it for the diner car vanish the same way, an Azra levitation. It's a wireframe underneath the sheet, and if the background's black, then the frame's got to be black material. If the background is red, then the material's got to be red. It's got to blend in its background as it's being hoisted up. In this case, he had it like a silvery and then bluish black, so the wireframe had to be in that kind of frame, silvery color, so when as it went up, and it looked like the frame of the red Dino Ferrari in midair. But the empty spaces that look empty, you see people walking through it. It's either slatted mirrors at certain points or a roller shade that comes in between there, and then to show it empty again, they done pulled them back so now you can see people walking through it. So it looks like everything hasn't been messed up with. If you want to get an idea, watch Valentino the Masked Magician, inside version of Making an Elephant Vanish. They showed the slatted mirror in a cage idea, and then later on a puff of smoke, and by that time the trainer takes the elephant out the back and closes the back curtain. Basically like the Learjet vanish, you hold the Learjet out the back, and the front area is a silhouette cutout of a half plane, and the black line hides that the wing part. The one side for the half front part of the Learjet, and the tail part on that is on that side. It lays flat, but you think that's the silhouette of the jet. Meanwhile, the assistants in the back are hauling the jet out the back, and they put a stage curtain in front of it. So, and it's pitch dark, and it matches the runway. It was a lot of work. By the time Copperfield calculated putting the bar across and when Joseph Cates, I think it was, so just to put that square part there, seeing him lock it in, that kind of adds to the time misdirection. And then by the time he gets up to do the lighting, it gives time to haul it out the back. The people with all that is the people that came up with an television that looks nothing, it doesn't look there, and you press a button or something and the TV comes up through, and it, you can hide it in plain sight. It looks like part of the furniture. Press a button, it rises it up. Anyway, he hired those people to do that, and if they did, maybe they hauled it underneath, I don't know, but the easiest way was hauling out the back like an elephant. Because even Copperfield said that magicians in Houdini's time did the elephant vanish. When we did the Learjet, it went beyond anything that was done before. And we had to rehearse in sections until we find the lighting was right and the timing was right, and we said, let's do it. Anyway. The diner car is the same way. You just haul it up in the air with a wireframe, and the lightings are so bright as they haul it out the back. They had some kind of fast way to haul it out the back. Same way, they had to have something to pull it real fast to haul it out the back. I mean, if you wanted to, you could keep the plane there and just raise the platform up and plug the hole. Or just have it flip over like the Green Hornet's car. A regular car to the beauty car. Flip it over. There's a lot of ways you can do it. And because Miss Larry suggested, just raise the platform up and just plug the hole. You can do that. He's got tons, Miss Larry has tons of illusions like me and Bob Schofield. And other magicians. Jonathan Pendragon, Charlotte Pendragon, Princess Tanko, Linda the First Lady Amanda, David Copperfield. Well, you get the idea. Franz Roy and all that. If you watch all the YouTube videos on how to do illusions, from close-up to stage and all this other stuff, plus you read books and watch lecture videos, and then you watch magic shows, you get an idea about how it was probably done. And then if they decide to do it themselves, or they have a lecture video, see how right you are, or how close, or how way off, and your idea might be even better, or theirs might be better than yours. Well, you get the idea. You just mix a whole bunch of different ways until you get it right. It's like Kenny Rock, to make the moon disappear, he said, Kenny Rock church member said, oh, that's easy. Just reflect the dark side of the moon to the front of the moon. Now, Bob Schofield said the same thing, but he went in more detail. He said, just use Elon Musk's drones that fly on the dark side of the moon and have mirrors reflect the dark side of the moon to the front of the moon. It's basically what Kenny Rock said, but Bob went in more detail. And then Bob said, like, this lady, scientist, magician nerd, she calls herself a magician nerd, Ashley or Christian, I can't think of her name, Catherine. I keep coming across different title names, but I don't know her real name. Maybe she don't want her real name. Or someone is taking the video and putting it under their name. That might be it. But anyway, on TikTok and on YouTube, it seems like it's two different people, but maybe they just using her video. But anyway, she said the same thing like Bob. Use a foil mirror to reflect the sunlight back to the sun, so the sunlight don't go to the moon, reverse to bring the moon back. And at the time I thought, well, the black art principle, black art lighting, dead black against dead black is absent of shadow. So I thought, what if they use a black light laser projector? But then I heard a YouTube video was being interviewed by Chris Kenner, Copperfield's one of his crew helpers, engineers, and he's the guy that invented air copper ring flight shoe that Copperfield now uses. Anyway, and he's using another guy's kind of idea of ring flight. Copperfield always keeps up with what's going on, what's new. Anyway, Chris Kinnear said that they get all ideas before the audience gets it for the mainstream to use whatever they want to use it for. Computers, they put it in their show. They put it like a cell phone new high mind reading idea that later on the audience will know how it works. Electricity, electromagnet, light and heavy chest, that used to be a magic trick. Now everybody knows about electromagnets. Well, you get the idea. Anyway, Chris Kinnear said that we get scientists and lighting people. We get all kinds of electronics, and just like Superman gets information to fight the bad guys. He's scientists and all that. If you watch George Reeves and Christopher Reeve, you get an idea. And anyway, Chris Kinnear said, I don't care if Copperfield's watching this YouTube video. There's a guy who gave us this Vanta Black. It's so black it absorbs the most light than any black out there, that you could put a clear glass Coke bottle in front of it and it won't look like it's there. That's how good it is. And so I said, well, what if he's using out in the desert a Vanta Black shadow projector beam onto the moon? Because when you look with your human eye, you see a black line, look like it's the moon splitting up and slowly disappearing or coming downward. But if you use your camera, video camera, it looks purplish. So purple is a black light. Purple light. Dead black is dense black, absent of shadow. And you got LED lights, lighting me in diodes and all this stuff. So if you combine the Vanta Black shadow laser projector onto the moon, you can make the moon seem like it's disappearing and then bringing it back. Then Dave Duncan said, well, we could use your idea, but use a military cloaking clear balloon high in the atmosphere and beam the Vanta Black laser projector onto the moon and do it that way. And then Tommy said, we'll do like Star Trek, beam a black laser from a satellite onto the moon. Okay, all these ideas are workable. And Bob said you could put television on the front and back and look like something's not there. Just apply that to the moon. And I know Guy Kramer's got nanobots, metamaterials, a glass that bends light around an object, apply it in outer space, and it'll look like the moon's gone. Reverse to bring the moon back. And Miles Pitwell, science professor magician, said, well, either it's going to project of a fake moon in the sky, or he's going to use Elon Musk's Starlink wireless satellites to block out 60-something Wi-Fi Starlink satellites, Wi-Fi wireless, I can't even pronounce right, wireless Starlink satellites for wireless internet for the whole world to be connected, even people who can't get it. This is leading up to the end times. You got to read up a Revelation where the whole world will see this big event and a big fight. Anyway, the Antichrist and one of the God's disciples and all that stuff. Anyway, the whole world will see it. This is where this is all leading up. It's God's design, God's timetable, as Pastor Walt Coles and everybody mentions, and Pastor Mike Astor, Jonathan, and Pastor Brown and John Radisey. Everybody agrees on that. You and Brother Rose, and Gary Good and everybody. Jeff Setzer and his wife, Jonathan Charlotte Pendring. Every Christian will understand that. Anyway, those satellites, Starlink Wi-Fi satellites, will block the light from going to the moon, reverse to bring the moon back. And then everybody who hasn't seen the moon vanish, they're going back to the Lazy Susan turntable idea for the Statue of Liberty, but apply it to the moon. So you got all these ideas, but Andre Cole thought of 7 methods in 1970s. In 1980s, somewhere in Alaska, people were wondering the mystery of the vanishing moon, and then it came back. I think even then Copperfield and his crew were rehearsing it. And Andre Cole said, I'm excited that David's going to breathe life into my illusion and make it a reality. Andre Cole passed away, I think, was it last year or last year before that? But I'm sure Copperfield showed him that it's workable before Andre Cole's health got too bad, and then he went straight to heaven. He got promoted to heaven, as Pastor Mike Astor likes to say. When a born-again Christian dies, he gets promoted to heaven. Anyway, and my dad was right when he first saw the Great Wall of China special. He said, I wonder if he's got a twin. I bet that's the best kept secret in the world. He was correct. Later on, I find out it's Christopher Hart, illusionist. He doubles in Copperfield's illusion, including the first part of the wall. Someone mentioned that in AOT.magic.secrets, in Google search engine and groups, and I looked on his website, and he said the same thing. On his biography, he even says the same thing too. Christopher Hart wants to take credit. I don't blame him. But I mean, I had an idea for a mind reading clock or watch. It's voice command. And then now, if someone thought of the same idea, great minds think alike, or they saw my comment, it don't matter. It's like I told my idea for the vanishing motorcycle reappear in the audience, Copperfield style, based on what I saw and what I put it together like a puzzle. And all of a sudden, there's a newspaper clipping on a website for Harley Davidson motorcycles and probably other motorcycles. And in it, it has a description of what I posted on AOT.MagicMySecrets of the secret of Copperfield's motorcycle vanish. And this was before Valentino Luna Montana showed one part of it, but he talks about making an appearance in the audience, but he don't go in detail what I explained. But anyway, you get the gist of it. Because what I saw was when Copper grabs that sheet, he's following the curtain towards that way. And then the look-alike, one could be Christopher Hart, or it could be another guy when you're doing the motorcycle one. It don't really matter there. Whoever's available. And then it's a black fighter, so you can't tell. And then either it's a pre-recorded voice or Copper's underneath the stage with a mic, and there's a mic in that helmet, so you hear Copperfield's voice, and that guy is rehearsed to mimic Copperfield's moves, so you think that's still Copperfield moving all around on there as he gets on the motorcycle. And then, as the guy vanishes on the platform high in the air, and you can do that with a tiger vanish. I've seen Steve Wyrick or somebody, I can't think of it right now, on World's Greatest Magic did the same thing, but with tigers. But when Copper reappears into the audience, I notice a cool, heavy-set guy wearing a green John Deere hat with a yellow deer on it to represent the John Deere tractor and all that. He gets up and opens up a two-sided trap door that's got a half cut, so when you close, it looks like a complete circle. But anyway, Copper's slowly coming up on hydraulics, slowly, and he's looking at me like, "Hi, you're not supposed to know I'm here at this moment in time." And then he looks at the audience, so I look at he looks at his look-alike disappearing on stage, so I look that way too, so the audience don't get too suspicious either. And then when the spotlight's aim in the audience is going to follow those lights, and then the audience will now notice that Copper is now high up, and now Copper is done, by that time, put the helmet on, and then they just assumed that he still had that helmet on, and he reappeared higher up on that platform, and he gets off on the duplicate motorcycle, Harley Davidson, and then jumps down, and then takes the helmet off, and you know how you see on the TV special, same idea. And then the guy with the John Deere is clapping with the rest of the audience to be part of it. Yeah. See, Copperfield uses helpers, stooges, and all that in the audience because that's what makes it work. He doesn't hire a whole crew. He just used some people. I mean, there was some people that were holding hands in the back. They had to know how to do it. The people around this way and up front, they had no clue. That's why Copperfield had them all blindfolded. If everybody held hands and the jets in the middle and they weren't blindfolded, then you know that they knew how it was done. You knew that all 70 people were part of the Learjet vanish. But that since they're all blindfolded, including his crew, that the only people that knew was the back people that open up. If you watch it, the cameraman bends it down like this, you see a guy start to move over this way, over towards the left. That's because they're getting ready to wheel it out the back. Anyway, enough information you should know. Hollow stairs, hollow tables, spandex tables, bevel bases, edge wedge tables, be in a frog leg position in a table like for the death saw. You know, there's people that's born with a half a body. Chris Angel uses them, and Kevin James and all that. It's really cool how they can do that, and they're getting a job in the process. You know, and my idea is people put it on a commercial for a motorcycle ad. Don't bother me none. More the merrier. It doesn't bother me. I'm glad to share knowledge freely. God gave his life freely on the cross, shed his blood for the whole world to get saved. You just got to accept that free gift. I mean, it's so simple. It's not rocket science. John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth him shall not perish but have everlasting life. John 3:16, Holy King James Bible. Jesus Christ, Lord, Savior, God, all capitals. And it's not just believing, it's by asking Jesus to forgive you. Say, Jesus, please forgive me for all my sins I have committed. And to come to my heart and save me. That's all you got to do. Because the devil believes and the fallen angels believe and tremble. So anyway, it's not just believing, it's by asking Jesus to forgive you of your sins and come to your heart and save you. You got to do that. You got to receive the gift. I mean, he can't just shove the gift to you. You got to receive it. You know, when you get something from Christmas or your birthday, you receive a gift and you accept it. Same way Jesus is giving you a gift, you got to accept it. He doesn't make robots. He makes you choose. Do you want it or don't want it? If you don't want it, you're going to be in a terrible place you wish you never were. I mean, it'll smell like rotten eggs, and you'll be all cuddled together, burning forever, ever and ever, and craving all your cravings and torture and wailing and gnashing in the teeth where the worm dies not. And it's so dark you can't even see past your face. And you'll smell like rotten eggs all huddled together, and you'll burn forever and ever and ever. That's the reason God, capital G, talks about that. He doesn't want you to go there. It was only for the devil and his angels. But Lucifer didn't want to be stuck only. He wanted to get God's people with him. And I don't know how many went there now, but Jesus don't want you to go there, so he talks more about that than heaven, because he doesn't want you to go to that fiery pit. He'd rather you be in heaven with him. And there'll be a new heaven and a new earth. Same earth, just remodeled. He's going to turn the sun extra hot and burn this earth up to make a new Adam and Eve garden, if you get, so to speak. As Pastor Mike Asher said, we'll get to see Genesis with our own eyes, and it'll be perfect. And Pastor Cole said it'll be shaped like a square, and Pastor Cole and Pastor Asher said the same thing. It'll be like a square guarded by all angels all around for symbolic, if I said that right. And it'll be shaped like a cube, but it doesn't say if it lands on earth or stays on earth in midair. It doesn't say, the Bible doesn't say. I guess God wants us to be surprised. And I noticed that Gene Roddenberry for Star Trek, he made the Borg ship, most of them square. I mean, some of them are circle, but most of them are square. And I noticed that God made Erno Rubik to come up with this 3D puzzle to make a 3D program for his students. And then God let the whole world know about it from 1970s into 1980s. And even now, year 2025 and still going, everybody can't put that cube down once they learn how to solve it, and they play with it and then come up with magic tricks with it and Henry Harris and J.C. Sum and Akira and everybody you can think of. Darrow's Enchanted Cube and Tricky Ricky Bus Ministry, his version of the Enchanted Cube that Bob gave me a long time ago, and I don't know where that went, but it's basically the same thing. And Doug Henning uses the Enchanted Cube, and this is before Stephen Brunage used regular cubes without rigging it up. Henry Harris, his versions are rigged up with patterns, and I can't think now. Greg Wilson's version of Rubicon gimmick plus patterns, but it's kind of neat that they come across with these ideas. God gave them these ideas. All the material goes back to God, as Pastor Mike Astor says. And Pastor Cole says, God's in control of everything, including who he puts at the White House. It's God's timetable, God divine. That's why the Earth's protective layer is now opening up. And he said if they just read their Bibles, they would know all this stuff. The scientists are not Christians, because there are Christian scientists. Bob Scofield mentioned it. But the ones that are not, they're racking their brain and scratching their head like, what is going on? Anyway, I probably rambled on it so much, I don't know.